join our hands as we welcome our online community as well, the people that are joining us as we get into this first session. It's a beautiful year. And I don't know how we all started the year, but I will tell you, whether it's on a bad note or a good note, it's still a beautiful year, right? Because it's a clean slate. And we have the power. The moment you know that you have the power to write anything, to do anything, that the year did not come fully packaged with you as a failure. Yeah? And it didn't come fully packaged with you as a winner. But one thing, when you know that I am a child of God, and clearly God calls me a winner, and I call myself a winner, and I intend to win. That is all that matters. So it's a clean slate for everyone. For those that are going to fail, for those that are going to win, it's a clean slate. So what you do, just like, I think it's the Bible that says, I refer so much to the Bible because it's the book that I read the most. Yeah, I refer to other books as well, but I refer to the Bible most. When it says that the power of death and life is under your tongue, or is with you, and it says, but choose life so that you and your descendants may live. So it's just saying that you have the power to choose the kind of life that you want to live. Do you want to live the good life, or do you want to live sinking? Do you want to live in survival mode, or do you want to thrive? Okay? A person that wants to thrive does totally a different set of things, and a person that wants to survive does totally a different set of things. That is where procrastination comes in. A person that says, oh, I want to thrive, but they are procrastinating. The actions are choosing. It's like you're saying, one mouth is saying one thing, but your actions are saying they are choosing survival mode. Now, in survival mode, there is no enough money. In survival mode, you can just get by the day. You know, you eat the food that you don't want, you sleep in a house that you don't want. If you're driving a car, it's not exactly what you would really want. Even when you get to the parking lot, you're trying to park last where no one will see you when you're getting into your car. I am not the dictator of what a good car and a bad car is, but I know that some of us know that we have outgrown certain things when we outgrow them. Even with clothes, even with a kind of house, you can see someone saying, I am not hosting anyone in this house until I get to a better house. Yeah? Until not like these Kampala people who say apartments, and they want apartments or flats, you know, but you're like, you know what? I think by now I should have outgrown this place. But since I'm still in this place, I think I'm going to lock the door to hosting people. Let me just kaneye, survival is kweye. Kaneye, perhaps when I get to a better place, then all of a sudden I will make the parties and invite people. And that is a sad place to live. Though it is the way to thriving, right? We begin by sinking. You're holding to nothing. You are drowning. You can barely eat. You can barely, parent. You can barely. And then all of a sudden you drag yourself and get into the survival mode where, yes, you can eat. Yes, you can. And when you get into the survival mode, some people are like, I have arrived, and yet they have not yet arrived. And so when you take long in the survival mode, that is when you're like, no, actually, this is not my final destination. I am supposed to get better. So that is when you start feeling like, you know what? Something must happen. Something different must happen in order for me to cross over into thriving, where you have the freedom of time, the freedom of finances, and just the freedom to be you. Yeah? Isn't that amazing? And that it is attainable? If anyone has ever told you that it is not attainable, look at me and know that it is attainable. You get it? No one should ever lie to you. You can have the freedom of time, you can have the freedom of location, that if I decided for the next 3 months, I want to be away, I will be away and I will still be earning. You get it? If I decided I want to be with my family or work from home, I will work from home and still earn. So I'm saying all these things not to brag or anything, but when God gives us exposure or exposes us to good things, it's one way of telling us that you can attain it. If another person can have it, then you can actually have it. So today we are talking about Plan to Win 2025. Plan to Win. We ended the year with Pray, Plan, and Prosper, and it was good. For those of you that were able to, we still have some sessions on YouTube of Pray, Plan, and Prosper. It was a fiery moment. We went into spiritual warfare, and it was really good. But one thing that God has been reminding me in this season is that He is a planner. And if he is a planner, then we must be able to plan. Look at the narrative of creation. You can clearly see that he planned. Nothing was random. Yeah? He did not just wake up and say things. He even had to call the Trinity and say, let us make man in our own image. That means he had envisioned what a man would look like. And he had maybe, should a man look like a gorilla? Should a man look like a monkey? Should a man look, but I think a man should look like us, have our spirit, have our soul, and have everything. So he pre-planned everything. When you still look at the happenings of still the Bible, you will see that whether it's the birth of Jesus, whether those things were actually prophesied years back. That means prophecy is planning, is a way of planning. That there is something that has been planned to happen in 6 months or 20 years to come. Now that is how far God plans. Whereas we plan for 1 year or 2 years, but for him, he plans and knows that, by the way, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. So that means it's not just random that things happen, and things cannot happen randomly in our lives. I know so many of us, plus those that are watching us online, there's so many of us that we have begun a year in a way that that is confused. And some of us don't want to admit, because everyone has the word for the year, does not mean that you should have the word for the year. Because everyone has already set goals for the year, that should not mean you should not be in panic to follow the Joneses and everyone that is doing everything. You're like, this is time to do vision boards. No, you can do your vision board in April. You can do your vision board no one is pushing you or rushing you to do anything. We must not all look alike, that, everyone is putting their word for the year, the word is abundance. So you were living in what last year? Yeah? And someone was telling me today that some people have Holy Spirit here. So last year didn't have the Holy Spirit in it. And I'm not here to bash anyone's word of the year, but I don't want you to feel the panic and the need to look like everyone else and to sound ready and to sound like you have everything figured out. No, I don't have everything figured out. I don't. Yeah? I am planning as I go, and some of you have yearly plans. This time I said, no, I am not bothering. I am not doing any full year plan. No, I am doing 4 quarters. So for 90 days, I am going to dwell on certain things. And if anything is not finished in those 90 days or have not nailed it, I am crossing over to the next quarter with it. So if one thing gets attained, or I feel like I have reached somewhere, I'm replacing it with another. I will give you what I am doing. I will give you my system. Not saying that you should do according to what I am doing, but that is what I felt to do this time round. So I don't have everything figured out. And the other thing that I am reminded of is God's plans are perfect, but our plans are not perfect. Yeah? So we should not feel the need to have a tight, an airtight kind of map of our lives, and we're like, no, it has to be like this. We must be able to be fluid and flexible, because we are going to meet walls. And we are going to meet defeat. But defeat does not mean that we are defeated. Okay? It does not mean that we should give up. We are going to hit frustration. We are going to be disappointed somewhere. And that is where I am so, this time, I really felt it that we should remind ourselves, number one, to tap into your why, because your why is the only reason you are going to jump over the walls, or you're going to keep pushing when things are not working out. It's not because of the clean plan that you put around. It's not because of the clean planner. Some of you even bought new planners. Some of you have new diaries. And that is okay. You know, I don't know if some of you have weaknesses. Like I have weaknesses. I love writing a lot, so I will have a book everywhere. Even in my bedroom, even in my office, like I will have 1,000 books. And I write in this, I end in the middle, and then I will write in another. Whenever I feel I need extra motivation, I pull out a new book. Do you know how it feels to write in a new book? It just feels like all your plans are going to come to fruition. It just feels, even though your handwriting that day is super nice, it's different. And then the other days you start scratching. So that is, some of us are like that. Some of us are like that. But again, The moment we get to know that we are human beings, yeah, and sometimes we cannot predict what's going to happen. So if we set a plan and say, in the first quarter, this is the kind of money I want to earn, or in the first half of the year, this is the kind of money I want to earn, chances are, it's possible you'll not even earn the quarter of that money. Yeah? And sometimes, by the way, not because you didn't work, you showed up. You outdid yourself, but maybe you used mechanisms that did not work and systems that did not work. Or you had the systems that work, but you lacked the execution. Yeah? Or if you have a totally good brand, you know, that people even, they know the visibility and awareness has been created, but your messaging is wrong. People cannot connect that you are the one with their answers. They see you as a nice person who puts on nice. You take nice studio pictures, you know, like your brand is intact. Your colors are well curated. When they come to your page, oh my God, everything is in sync. And you'll be like, oh my God, I want to be like this coach. But your message is totally off. So you are a very glamorous, big, huge cow that has no milk. Yeah, so many brands are like that. So many. Like you are a public speaker and you feel it, you have, you know, something good inside of you. But for whatever reason, when you post anything, no one is watching. Yeah? And so that means we need to be in the habit of knowing that this is my why, okay? This is my why. And so if my why is to be able to fulfill my purpose, is to be able to transform lives, is to be able, that means I should be able to carry on even in the transition of, you know, tweaking and adjusting what my brand is. I cannot just shut down and say, you know what, let me go into hibernation so that I make myself better. And then I will come back. When I come back, you people are going to see me. Just give me 2 months like this. Let me tell you, when you go into hibernation, chances are you will never come back. Even when you come back, you disappear for 2 days, we don't know you. How many Instagram accounts are we seeing? In microseconds, when you scroll like this. So, if I don't see you in my feeds, I don't know you exist. I forget about you. 1 week goes. If I even remember, I'm like, hey, but where did so and so go? And then I come to your page and you stopped posting 2 months ago or 3 months ago. And I'm like, she's out of business. Yeah, because it's your office, your number one office. If we want to know that you're still alive, we go to your... If we want to know you're still in business, it's like a shop that you wake up every day and say, good morning, my clients, I am open for business. If this is what, that is where we should never get tired of reminding people what we offer, you know, sometimes we are like, by now they already know me. Let me tell you, even if you have 1 million followers, yeah, 1 million followers, remind them every week of what you offer, how much it costs, where they find you, where your office is, remind them, even if it's after 2 days, remind them. Because we forget. Guys, how many things do we have to cram in our heads? We're the ones who know the best salon. We screenshot things on Jumia. We are screenshotting everything. Our phones are full. And guess what? What is fuller? Our memories. They are pouring out. Like, we can't keep anything. Yeah? Now, add on to that if you have a husband, if you have children, or if you have a wife. Add on to that if you have a job. Yeah? If you have parents and siblings and old parents who are getting sicker by the day, yeah? Add on to that your own health. So many things to do. And yet, you have purpose to pursue. You have lives to transform. You have this reason as to why you live every day and wake up every day excited. But again, it does not mean that everything else is dimmed in your life. No, you're still carrying them out. So you see where the flexibility to know that I am human and I am not going to hit everything the way I want it. So when I am disappointed, I should be able to come back and recalibrate and come back to my why. Why exactly am I doing the thing that I am doing? Some of us, it could be a weight loss thing. I had to go back to myself and ask myself, because I was on a journey that was just not heading anywhere. Like running, it's like a rat of some sorts. And so I was like, my motivation to actually do gym and to work out seriously 5 days a week for 1 hour every day is not about having a flat tummy. It's not about looking cute. No, I am not here in the world to look cute for anyone. No, I am not. That is a very weak reason for me. It's a very weak why. But guess what? When I tapped into the realness of, I want to live a good life, and then not just live a good life, but I must be in my children's life, and I must take care of my family, that was a much better reason for me. So I was like, you know what? I am not getting into anything that I could have avoided because of exercise or because of working out. So high blood pressure, being diabetic, everything else, being obese, and all the sicknesses that come with it, joint pains and all that, inflammation and all that. I'm like, no, I don't want any of that. And then I have a global ministry. I have to travel the world because I had hit a weight where every time I had to travel, I had to have compression socks. Why? Because the inflammation was too. By the time I arrived to my destination, clearly I cannot even walk for that day. But there are times you have to fly into a country and actually speak the same day. So I don't have the luxury of saying, oh, jet lag, oh, I am tired, oh, my knees, my knee are swollen. No. So if I need to be able to, so I had to come back to the reason, to the real why that makes sense to me. That is why we should be able to assess, take time, okay? Don't do everything that everyone is doing or how they are doing it. Take time and create a non-judgmental assessment that is very honest. Is that what you want to do? Or you are doing it because other people are doing it? Because having a flat tummy of having abs, it's a good reason. And that can be exciting for another person. For me, that is not exciting. Yeah? For me, what is exciting? Do I want it? I want to look good. But it's not reason enough for me, or it's not a strong why for me. So that means I have to look for my strong why. That means you have to do you. You don't have to do anyone else. Or why are you pursuing, why are you becoming a coach? You know, like everyone is just being a coach, you know, everyone is just, they have a way of looking cute, they take pictures, you know, and then they post, they're like, hey, oh, why do you want to be a content creator? I want people to see me, yeah? Or you're getting back at someone. Have you ever seen people that are revenging, even when it workouts and weight loss? Some people are like, I want my ex to see me, that when they see me, they should know what they missed. Wrong why. Wrong why. Yeah? Okay, you know, I want to be happy, and you know, I want to be happy so that when they see me like this, they're like, you know what, man, I am malako. Wrong why. You're never going to be happy. So you're going to maintain a plastic smile because you want people's validation. Yeah? So why do you want to do the thing that you want to do? Whatever goal that you want to do, why do you want to do? Be very, very honest with yourself and do not judge yourself for thinking the way you want to think, okay? That is why when it comes to eating, even when I'm still on a weight loss journey, when it comes to eating and I feel I want to eat something that is outside the scope of what I want to eat, I do not judge myself. I do not. Will I limit myself sometimes? Yes, I will. And luckily enough, or not even lucky enough, because other people would not call it lucky, but for me, I call it lucky, because my husband will not be on me. You're picking ice cream. You're ordering for ice cream. He'll be like, go ahead, have fun. He'll even give me, have fun, go ahead. But inside of me, I'll be like, back then, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm letting myself down. But these days, I will have it like happily. And then I'll be like, yeah, now that is done. Back to back to business. Yeah, I will not beat myself up, because in that moment, I longed for it, I craved for it. The thing is, I'm not going to make my craving a daily habit, but in that one moment, I'm just going to extend grace to myself, and I'm going to be lenient with myself. Okay? So I want us to have a non-judgmental, honest. I want you to look at all your goals. everything that you have set to do, I want you to ask yourself, why do you want to attain what you want to attain? Okay? Why? What is your why? Go back to your why until it makes a lot of sense to you, not making sense to other people. There is something that still my brain is conditioned about. It was about money making, okay? For me, making money was a way of running away from poverty. So it was more of a reaction, okay, to a situation. Yeah? So after some time, I started seeing some notions on internet of how that is a wrong mindset and how we should have other reasons for wanting to actually make money, right? So the reasons would be, for charity or to help others. I could not bring up myself to lie to myself that is what I wanted to do with money. Simple. I know where I come from. I know the stinking poverty that I come from. I know the kind of lack and the kind of... So I am actually running away from that. I am actually running away from that. So for me, that is a strong why for me. I do not want to go back to where I came from. So whoever does not find it as a strong why, I am doing me. You get it? Because if I set another goalpost for me, I will actually become weaker at doing what I am doing. If you tell me that you make more money, and I love charity, but I do charity at a smaller scale, okay? But there are people that their hearts are full-blown charity. And so they're like, God, if you give me money like this, I am going to feed the village. No, that is not my why. It has never been, and I will never pray for it. And I want to be genuine with myself. So what works for me and what has worked for me for the longest time is me understanding where I come from and saying I never want to go back there. I never want to go back to a place where I have to be dependent on someone. I never have to go back to a place where I am depriving myself of something because I can't afford it. I never want to go to a place where I cannot afford the life that my children deserve. I never want to go back there. So I will save as much as I can. I will invest as much as I can. And guess what? I will make as much as I can. That is a strong why for me. It's possible no one is going to understand it. And I don't want anyone to understand it. It's very possible that even the people that are watching, we have some financial coaches and like, that is a wrong mindset. Is it a wrong mindset? Could be. But it is not your mindset. It is my mindset. That is what matters. You get it? Because I'm not going to benchmark on everyone to get the momentum to do the work. Because that is what most of us have done. We have calculated our progress according to what the world is saying. And so we want to be on the same level, or we want to be higher than them, and we want to adapt their mindsets, and we want to adapt what they think is right and what they think is wrong. We want to diss it. And so sometimes we have a tendency of even the public speakers speaking what we don't mean because we read it somewhere. If I don't mean it, if it does not work for me, that is why I say, if it cannot cut through your heart and make meaning, don't mention it anywhere. Then you're giving out poison. Chances are the person that said it had a context. Yeah? They had a background for it. It made sense for them. Chances are maybe we are at different statuses and different pain points in life. So we do not see the same way. Because when a multi-billionaire decides and say, I want to go on a world tour for the whole year. And then you're like, guys, let me tell you, the in thing and the thing on Vogue right now is going for a world tour. Going for a world tour with which money? Yet to do what? Because you're going to be so bored. Because, do you know the rich? They go for goat racing. For you go for goat racing and say, do what? Eh? The black goat, please run faster, run faster. Those people, My friend, they will go for goat racing. They will have very big hats, flamboyant hats, and then they will look cutesy and what, and demure and what, and mindful, and they will be like they're walking, they are not walking, and then they will have some cliques of women that look weird, and they look like, I'm not saying anyone looks weird. It's very possible that's not my cup of tea, yeah? But there are people, it's their cup of tea. But again, there are also people that fix themselves in that. And they're like, you know what, we have to shop for it and we have to play the part. And all of a sudden they go. And guess what? Where you are seated, you're sitting for the goat race, chances are a cup of tea is going to be sold, what, 500,000? Yeah? And then some people are like, you borrow to what? Yeah, to pause, you know? So people can be like, she's also in the cluster of those that have arrived. No, no one should think I arrived. No one has to think that I have arrived. I just have to be me and accept where I am, work harder to go to the next level, work harder to go to the next level, but with my right why pushing me all through. Because with all your plans, you're going to meet all the hurdles. And let me tell you, the hurdles do not come to people who did not plan, because they are living random lives. Whoever says, come, we go this way, let's do this, and then let's do this. Like, there is no pain in anything. But if you wanted to hit, and you say, you know what, my lowest target, let me say, is this kind of money. And all of a sudden, you put out programs, you put out courses, you put out your sessions, you advertised speaking, public speaking, what, and you didn't hit it. Yeah? Then you're frustrated. You have hit the wall, and now you're frustrated. But if you're the kind who can say, you know what, let me go farming because I think this thing has failed. Let me just go into farming because I don't think farming can really fail. It's about planting seeds in the ground, calculating the season, and boom, you have crops. Yeah? That means you didn't have a strong why to do what you were doing. If you can run very quickly. A person that makes it is one that says, you know what, I will jump over this wall, or I will break through this wall, or I will go around the wall. But in all ways, I have to get to the other side of the wall and see, what is it? What is happening? So you will sleep on it, you will do an event, and you will have 5 people coming to the event where you hoped so many people would come, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, this is the last time I'm ever making an event. I will never make an event. And then all of a sudden you say, but why don't you do events? I think events are not my thing. No, you had a weak why. Yeah? Because if your why was strong, you would make another event and you would be looking at, you will be coming, like people come to my office and they're like, okay, so how do we strategize? Okay, how do we do this? And we're like, you know, no one makes an event without complimentary tickets. There are people you'd want to invite to come and attend without even paying, so that those that are paying can find that you already have a crowd. Because what you want is, next time you're selling an event, you have pictures to show them that last time this is how it performed, and now there is believability and credibility, and people are thinking, so people go to her events, this time I'm also going to her events. So you realize that there is a formula for everything. So when you hit the wall, I want you to remember your why, and make sure that your why makes sense to you. That is why I have taken too long explaining this, because I want your why to make sense to you. I don't want us to copy anyone's agenda, and I don't want us to seek for validation from anyone else. If someone tells you what they think is the right thing, agree with them because it is the right thing with them. But go back and evaluate, is that what you want? Is that what makes sense to you? If it does not make sense, then decide what makes sense to you, because that's what's going to give you the momentum to keep going and to keep pushing. All right? You remember the, while I was talking about that, I was reminded of Joshua and going around the wall. Do you know that there was a plan to that? God did not just say, I've gotten a random thought. I think you guys just go around the wall and we see what happens. No. He knew that at the end of the walking, there was a win. Yeah? At the end of the working, there will be blowing of trumpets and the walls will come down, and there was an end to it. So you see, what planning does is, it's not just the random acts of just being anywhere, but curating, knowing that there is a win at the end. You know, there is a breakthrough at the end, there is attaining of money, or there is changing lives, or there is making yourself better, or there is whatever it is, there is an end to a plan. And you should work with that end in mind. Because if you don't work with an end in mind, then you're going to bring random things. For example, if you want, yesterday I was giving an example to the teens that I was talking to, and I was like, if you want to build a grass-thatched house, yeah? Like seriously, you just scratch and make holes and then plant poles and then do your mud and then the grass, right? And it's as simple as that. But if you want to build 10 stories, the kind of digging that you might have to do and the way you spend on that, on that foundation, the kind of stones, the hardcore that is going to go into it, the cement that is going to go into it, because it is going to hold a bigger structure that it is going to be. So even when you are planning, you plan and say, what some of us plan, but the plans, we have an end of a storied building, 20 stories, but we are planning with a grass-thatched house in mind. Yeah? So you're bringing your random things and throwing them around, yeah? But you're envisioning something big. Because there is going to be a greater sacrifice for a person that plans bigger. If you know that this is going to be, for example, because we are in real estate with my husband, but whenever we plan to build, we are building something for 20 years, 15 years ahead. We are not building for now. So even most of our plans and everything, it will be either an open kitchen, it will be an American style, it will be something that when someone sees it 20 years from now, is still something that they can actually say, wow, this is good. Have you seen some houses that people plan for, and then they just put them somewhere, and all of a sudden, within 1 year, like you can't stay in them. Yeah? Like the plans are off. They are just, you know, the Bustoa. Do you remember those Bustoas? I think people are still building such houses. But sometimes it's the lack of exposure. And sometimes it's because you're like, now, this one, they're expensive. We will not get tenants for them if we create. No. If you think that is the money you're aiming for, then you're going to strategize and say, this is what I'm going to build, but this is how I'm going to market it and promote it, and then this is how I am actually going to get the tenants for it. That means it's going to be a little bit hard work put into it. You have to do a little bit of networking. You have to know the people that have done it. What have they done to get the clients? That means but some of us don't want the hard work. We want, you're like, let me make the ones for 5,000, so that they can have easy market, okay? So ask yourself, is that what you want? Or it's your brain that has been conditioned to think small? People are building walls everywhere. There is a door everywhere. There is a junction in the house. Like, more small spaces, squeezed up spaces, and yet we are the kinds that love big spaces. And so we were like, you know what? That means there are other people like us who are suffering. So let's create something that we can also stay in. And that is how we started. And we have never been disappointed. And we copy everywhere. Everywhere we go, we are looking at, we are like, hey, this bathroom, hey, but these stones, you know, and then my husband is the one who is breaking walls every time. It's like, now we can break this wall and make it look this side. And for him, there is a project every time. You know, this DIY, do-it-yourself projects that we see on, for him, he does not take pictures and what, but he is the master planner of do-it-yourself. He is either knocking down something, he's telling someone that will not work, and then all of a sudden, there is always a good product at the end of the day. Why? Because the mind plans, it foresees, and now when he tells me of something, he's like, you know what? Do you see the other wall? That in my heart, I'm like, he has started. And then I know something is going to be broken. So these days, I no longer argue. because I know he has envisioned it in his head, and everything he has tampered to do, it has come out nice. So I'm like, let them knock it. He's like, but have you understood the word? I have not understood, but let them knock it down. If you said they knock it down, they knock it down. So he has envisioned it, and now sometimes he tells me, I even don't know how to tell it to you to bring out the clarity of the picture, but give me 2 months. Give me 2 months. You will come back and see what this picture looks like. So you see, there is planning, there is foreseeing. Some of us don't visualize when we are planning. We don't visualize. But do you know that visualization is an attraction method and a manifestation method? When you visualize something, I will tell you for a fact, there is nothing I have ever visualized in my life that I have not gotten. And I say this with a lot of boldness. If I have thought about it, if I have given it time to see it in my life, or me living that reality, I have come to that reality. And now I am very careful about my thought process, because I know that when my thoughts are aligned in a particular way, results are bound to happen. So that means such a mind, you have to guard it from the bad, because still when you think the negative, you can attract the negative. Now, the battle I have right now as a person, and the only thing I pray for and I am careful about, is to not have my mind deviate from where I want to go. Because the moment it deviates, and this is what, by the way, you see people walking, but we are all mad at a certain degrees. Yeah, because sometimes I be somewhere and my mind veers off a bit. When it veers off a bit, I repent and I rebuke. And I don't know if you people have lived that kind of life, but I will seek to align, and I'll be like, God, no, that cannot happen. And sometimes I'm like, I'll not even say it loud because the devil will hear it. Are you mad like that? Oh, I am the only mad person in the house. And so I bring myself, but aligning yourself to think positive is a hard thing. Because just like weeds can grow on concrete, a bad thought can grow anywhere. Even in a good situation, there will always be something that sneaks into your mind. Now, when it sneaks into your mind, and I learned the hard way, because there is a time I over-rehearsed a bad thought process, and exactly how I thought about it is how it panned out. It happened again and happened again, until now I started speaking the positivity loud. The negative, I would shush it, and then I would speak the positivity loud so that I can beat my brain back into alignment so that I can believe for that. And sometimes I would tell my mind, if you have nothing better to think about, be blank. Like seriously, if you have nothing, because let me tell you, the mind has a mind of its own. Our subconscious mind is very, very strong. That sometimes you will hold a book to read and you will not see any letter on that book. Your mind will be somewhere else. You will try to shake yourself. You will try to, let me bring some cold water, but the mind will get stuck to what it wants to get stuck at. Yeah? So we build, and how we win, and how we are going to win in 2025, alignment is something that is very crucial. Alignment is something that is very crucial. I want you to see that life. I want you to perceive it like it's yours. I want you to move towards it. Move the pieces towards it. When you play like you are going to win, you play different. And when you play like you are going to lose, because you lost in the first moment, when you looked at it and you're like, I am done. The other night I was watching a movie. Now I don't even remember what the title is. But one thing I know, it's about the Roman gladiators. And there is this gladiator that was actually, he was turned into a gladiator, but he was coming from a different country, and he was even an African. And so he was taken captive as a slave, and he was brought into Rome, and he became a gladiator. And his sisters were also captives, so now they were slaves. And the mother was working hard to make sure that she buys their freedom. And so this boy had killed a lion before. He had fought with a lion before. So he had this self-belief in him that he cannot fail at anything. And so every time he attacked or he went into the arena to fight, like in his mind, he visualized, even when he was joking with other gladiators, they were like, the guy that you're going to fight, did you see the other guy with the tattoo? Like, he's bigger than you, like twice your size, and like he has never been beaten in his life. Like for him, he looked, and he was short like this. So he would look at them, he was like, I would love to see him try, but I know if it's fighting to death, I know I am not leaving that arena as a corpse. I know he's dying because I have my sisters. Now, do you see his why? I have my sister to redeem. Yeah? Because my freedom means their freedom. So I am going to fight however way I need to fight to make sure that I attain my sister's freedom. And so he fought the big giants, the one that were like, he's finished. Now, the king was the kind who felt, not actually the king, but the brother of the king, hated him. And so he was like, let's put him in the arena with that guy so that he can die. Now, his happiness was to just sit. I don't know if you guys have watched those games for Roman games and gladiators and fighting. They enjoy seeing people dying. So all he wanted was the guy to die. And so in the first moments, it seems like he's being beaten. Yeah, because before he finds his footing. Remember, if you have a mind of a winner, it's very possible that you will start with a losing feat. It's very possible that you will look like you are dying. It's very possible that you will look like you might not make it. Okay, but that does not kill the mind of the winner, because he knows that odds can turn for better. Okay, and I don't need too much time for things to turn around. I just need one right idea. I just need one right thought. I just need to connect to the right person, and that can be a turnaround for me, and the trajectory of my life can change. That is a person that has a winning mind. So he gets into the arena with a winning mind, but he gets into the arena with a big man. And everyone is thinking, he's done. Okay? Now, this is what had happened behind the scene. I am going to tell you this story because you have to hear it. Now, what had happened behind the scene is the mother had tiptoed into that the big gladiator's room. While he was having fun of his life, you know how Romans have fun. While he was having the fun of his life, and there were drinks on the table, and she put in something that weakens the gladiator, the big gladiator. Because the mother was like, I don't think my son can survive. I want to see my son live another day. Okay? And so he went and spiked their drinks. And now the problem is, the big gladiator did not drink. It's the girlfriend that drank. But the big gladiator's glass remained there. Are we together in this story? I'm not leaving you behind. So now, the girlfriend was actually dead in the morning. She was facing the wall, and the big gladiator was all like, you will never forget. Yeah, you will never forget. For him, he thinks he's talking to a living person, but that girlfriend had taken her glass, and she was already kaput. And now, while he's there, all feeling good, I'm just going to kill this person, chanting all his things, he gets the glass and drinks. In the morning, it was spiked in the night. He slept without drinking, and he drank in the morning. And when he drank, definitely it is not activated in the real time. So he goes into the arena, ngawaga, he's lifting his hands, everyone is like, oh my God, Yeah, so now we know that this heathen, this foreigner is actually going to die. Now just imagine a person that has a mind of a winner versus a person that does not have a mind of a winner. A person that has a mind of a loser is one who sees even a dying giant, because you don't know that the giant is dying. But you see a dying giant and you already know that I am dead. And when you are dead, even your first performance is going to be out of alignment, because you have already surrendered. Yeah? You've already thought that, visualized how you're going to be dragged out of the arena dead, how your sisters are going to die in slavery, how, I mean, it is kaput. Do you know it consumes you and it zaps and sucks all the energy out of you, that because you need clarity to fight. You need, in microseconds, a blade can take away your neck. So that means the way you turn, your angles, everything must be a lot of clarity with a lot of intentionality. And so you don't need any fog on your mind of negativity, of saying, you know what, I think the next time he swings this, I am dead. Do you know that people that have a mindset, a defeated mindset, that's what they think? Now, look at this huge giant coming in. His drink has been spiked. That means God has worked in our favor in the background, or the Holy Spirit. I would call this woman a representation of God. That God has made our enemy weak, okay? And he's only thinking, you have already conquered. He has declared that you are a winner, but you are engulfed in losing and defeat, because that is what you think about yourself. You think so little of yourself that you cannot bring yourself to think that you can actually win. So do you see where the difference is? So now he sees the guy coming. He does not know that the guy is spiked. No one knows. It's the mother that knows. When the mother saw the big gladiator walk into the arena, she was like, my boy is dead. It's like, I spiked his drink in the night. I expected he would wake up dead. Now he's not dead. He's entering the arena. Now for her, she is panicking. But the boy is thinking, I am going to kill you. He's a small boy. Do you see David with his 5 stones, with Goliath, and while they are giving him the heavy garment, he's saying, no, I can't. This is not how I'm used to fighting. I didn't kill the bears and the lions with a heavy fighting armor. No, I have my stones, 5 stones that I picked. And he's saying, who are you to blaspheme against the army of God? Okay? I say, I'm coming to you in the name of God. And for him, in his mind, he's thinking, I am going to kill. But remember, already in that passage, if you read the story of Goliath, they had described to us at full length how he was all covered in metal. All, the whole of his body. There was no any small hole where anything could pass, not even a spear. Yeah? He had 6 feet. He has 6 fingers. He is that giant. Everyone is looking at him. And someone is somewhere with a sling, with a caston. And he's thinking, I'm coming to you in the name of God. Who swings a sling without thinking he's going to win? If you think you've been defeated, you would not even bother. You would not even bother. You would just take food to your brothers. And then you'll be like, what are you doing? We are fighting Goliath. Okay, let me go back to my sheep. But while he's saying, what is happening? Goliath is, fighting the army of God. It's like, so the man that wins, what do they get? They get the king's daughter, and then they get part of the kingdom. He's like, where is Goliath? Show me where he is. Just imagine. But remember, in his mind, he's like, I have ever killed a live lion when it was taking my father's sheep. I have ever killed a lion. Now, some of us have a track record of some wins. But because we go through losing seasons, we forget the track record of the wins. And so we start undermining ourselves. But for him, I think it was like, by the time I killed a lion with my bare hands, like I got one jaw and I got another one and I tore it. The same David, that power is in me. It is in me. And so he shows up, swings his sling, and guess what? The stone goes in the middle of the alignment of the hems of the metals. You know how you have to have, when you have metals and you have joints, those metals have to have joints as well. So the stone goes through a tiny joint and kills a giant because someone had the audacity to think, I can win. The audacity to think, I can win. That I have won before, this is no different. The other one could have been a lion. This is a human being. It is all a battle. And so I am going to come at it. I am going to start the year. I am going to attack my goals with a winning mindset. And you remember what we said? That it's not according, remember, your why, or let it be tailor-made and customized to you. Because if it was not customized to him, when they gave him the, you know, those, the metallic, the metallic armors, yeah? He was a small boy. David was a small boy. He's being given all these heavy things of big men that go to battle, and he's very heavy. He cannot even, you know, the sword alone is heavy. The shield alone is heavy. What he has to put on to protect his head is heavy. And he's like, you know what? No, I don't need any protection on my head. I don't need any protection whatsoever. That means he chose to do him. He chose to customize his win to himself and not to win according to how everyone else was winning. That is why some people even go to a great extent of copying niches. They're like, I have seen the relationship niche really works. I think so many people have relationship problems. Who told you that so many people don't have teenager problems? So many people have financial issues. So many people, even just personal growth, the endeavor to grow is a problem. You get it? So you cannot say, I think people have so many problems in relationships. No, how about people have growth problems? So I need to cover their growth gaps, the lack of consistency, the lack of showing up, the lack of ambition. I am going to be that growth coach that reconciles the growth gaps. And the moment you tailor-make, do you know that the reason as to why we buy anything from you as a people helper is not because you've spoken so much English, is not because you have a polished brand. No, we buy your belief system. We buy your level of certainty. If you are so certain that what you are selling is going to help me, I am buying it. Do you hear the people on Buzindalo saying pressure, the sukari, as in like one medicine like this is healing 40 things. And they are so certain, like so certain. They will even have hooks, by the way. Do you think hooks are for Instagram? They will have hooks. They will be like, if anyone else is selling you this medicine without my t-shirt, please don't buy. You know, if they are not putting on my t-shirt, be cool. You know, and let me tell you, you will buy, they will give you a reason to. And you will buy. You see women buying water in jerrycans. But the way they are so certain that it is going to work. And sometimes, by the way, if it does not work, they'll be like, you used it wrongly. You buy again and see if it will not work. Let me tell you, you can buy those things 10 times while you're keeping them at home as evidence of your money. They are not working, but you have the audacity to buy more. Why? They are so certain about what they are selling. And sometimes it's not being so certain. They are so certain. I'm going to heaven immediately after buying this thing. Why? Because they have practiced the art of certainty. They have known that people just don't buy into anything, but they buy our level of certainty. So when you talk about winning, I want you to look at the mindset as I am winding up. I want you to seriously look at your mindset. Your mind is a field. What are you planting into it? Because a winning mindset is fed differently and a losing mindset is fed differently. If I want to win, I am going to feed on faith building things, okay? And I'm not going to be everywhere. Even my choice of friends is going to be different. My choice of circle is going to be different. Where I go is going to be different because I know what I am building and I know what I am aiming at. So I want you to look at your mindset, and lastly, I want you to look at your mapping, okay? I want you to be able to map what areas in your life do you actually want to grow in. I want you to be able to understand how can I visualize it, how can I create action points, how can I actually get to make sure that it is very clear, like Habakkuk says, okay, that you write it down and make it plain, because you cannot run with it if you cannot see it. The only way you can run with it is if you cannot see it. So make it visible, okay? Make it as visible as possible. And this is a way of making it visible for me. I have the goal and then I have a system. The system is what I dwell on so much because I know the system is what's going to make me. So if I know that what I want to cultivate relationally, and I have just 4 areas that I'm aiming at: my spirituality and emotional well-being, the physical bit of it, the financial bit of it, and the relational bit of it. So I am working on 4 things in the first quarter. Okay, and if any of these things actually I hit it, then I replace it with another thing, maybe a professional thing. But if I don't attain it, then I'm crossing over to the quarter with another thing. But if it's relational and it's specifically about my husband, or if it's specifically about my children, or it's whatever it is, but it is relational, I am going to make sure that on my system, I even mention how much time I'm going to give to it. How much time I'm going to give to the children, if it's the date nights that I'm going to have with them, if it's picking them from school, because I don't pick them every day, but I can create special days where I have to pick them and go for ice cream or go for pizza or go for something else. Why? Because I want to create these experiences. If my goal is to spend more time with them, then I am going to create systems that are going to enable me to create. So it's not just going to be about the goal, it's going to be about the systems that I create to make sure that I attain the goal that I want to attain. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, we have talked about your plan having a non-judgmental assessment of your motive. Okay? Go back to your why and make sure that you understand that it is not something to be joked about. Okay? And then your mindset is very crucial. And then how you map your goals and your systems is very crucial to your winning. So I wish you a winning year, okay? And let's spread that winning to other people that we are going to influence and transform. And let's align them with the positivity that they need in order to attain the goals that they have set this year.